Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and it is finally frickin' time. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you've already seen these palettes. These are the Violet Voss minis, and you guys, I am so excited to finally get to go through, sit down with you guys. We're going to talk about all of them. We're going to swatch all of them. I want to tell you my opinions, my thoughts, and I want to tell you how I got this eye look, because I personally was going for like this really beautiful, like, think a Christmas party type vibe, but like glammy, and then I'll get into why I'm not wearing false lashes and all of that here in a second. So the first thing that I want to start by doing with these palettes is going through, talking about them, and looking at them. So the only thing I haven't been able to find so far as like information on these is how much product is in each pan, because these are little 10-pan palettes. They're super cute. They have a little mirror. They are adorable little presentation moments, but I just can't stand that no matter what, I cannot figure out or find a place to tell me how much product is in these pans. It is not anywhere on the actual carton itself, and these I actually purchased in the big like PR style box, so they came in like a big witchamadoo with all four of them, and so there's no unicarton with these that would also have information on it, and the big box doesn't have info. So that's the only piece of information I don't have for you, but the rest of it I'm so excited to talk about, because you guys, these little 10-pan palettes are $18 a piece. They're available on the Violet Voss website. Now again, I purchased these in the bundle, which is no longer available. That was $72. These are $18 a piece, and it looks like the only one that is sold out is Fruit Sorbet, which is actually this first one right here, which I'm going to get into like my favorites of the palettes and things like that. I'm not surprised that that one's sold out, because it's the one that has like all the super bright colors in it, but I don't think that that in any way should like deter you from looking into this collection, because the other three palettes are beautiful. Now that we have all the nitty gritty stuff out of the way, we've talked about pricing and where to find them and all of that kind of stuff, I do want to dive into the swatches, because this is where you will really get to see them in all their beauty and all of their just like all of their sexy beautifulness. So we're going to start off with that palette, Fruit Sorbet, and I love this palette because I love all the colors on the cover. I love how it's just so represented through and through to have like brightness and pops of color, and it has this beautiful shimmery green in it, the beautiful bright blue. Both of them are stunning. A lot of beautiful mattes that blend out dreamy in this palette, and I love that it has this really interesting almost duochrome topper shade that has like a white to green shift, like a mint green shift. Absolutely beautiful. It also has this really intense almost slate gray black moment that's shimmery, which is really unique, and overall the palette itself is beautiful and bright and bubbly and happy, but it does have like that like subtle shimmer black moment in there that's really like sultry, that could really brighten or like deepen up a bright look, or you could use it as a lash line. Like there's a lot you can do with it, and I just find that this palette is super like artistic friendly as far as what it has, having pops of color at a really good price point. This was a really good palette. Again, this is the one that on their website is sold out. I haven't found anything online that says if it'll be restocked or not, but it is a beautiful, beautiful palette, and you guys, like this green color, I cannot. It is so, I'm going to end up like showing you swatches and then swatching them more. This green is so, I almost used this on my lid today. So reflective and so like, I want to have fun, like I want to really deepen it up. There's a lot you can do with this, and having all of these other beautiful bold mattes in here that you could fluff into the crease, that is just, there's nothing you couldn't do. These two shades, the green and the blue, actually that was an awful swatch. They actually remind me a lot of the, what was that, the rainbow palette from Violet Voss. Those two shades remind me so much of that palette, because they're both beautiful and bright and shimmery, and that whole rainbow palette, if you don't remember it, it came out I think a year ago, and it had these really big beautiful pans. I have it over there. I use it actually still to this day. It is so amazing for bright pops of color, and these two shades really made me reminiscent of that palette, because it's just, it's a great little palette. Now anyways, let's move along. We have the Creme Brulee palette up next. This is the one that has all those super basic brown tones, and what I will say that I love about this palette more so than anything is I love that they didn't go overboard with different mattes. They really wanted to drive home shimmer and glimmer and sexiness with this palette. They gave you some deeper tones, some lighter tone shimmer, some cooler tones, some warmer tones, and they gave you like these beautiful rusty pops of shimmer in there, and they only gave you 4 matte tones to really blend everything out, so crease colors or blending out shimmers or whatever, even lower lash line work if you will, but there's a lot you can do with this palette that's like really beautiful. I mean, beautiful quality, basic everyday palette. I know we've seen these tones a million times, and I can only imagine that some people were like a little bit frustrated when they saw this because it's like, oh, we've seen it. It's been done before. But there is something really beautiful and really special about a palette like this because it's affordable. Like, it's $18, which is super affordable, and you're getting the amazing quality of Violet Voss. So these, you're not going to use a lot of them. You don't need a lot of them. They don't have to be manipulated really intensely to become beautiful. These are shadows, all Violet Voss shadows in general. I find that I don't have to work with them a ton for them to just like go on and be beautiful and be sexy. And that's what I love about this palette. They did give you 2 workable options in this collection that are, look, you can buy Violet Voss, you can buy it really affordable, and you can buy colors that are just good everyday staple moments, and I really do love this. In my opinion, I think it will work for most people. I think that the undertones, like of a couple of these shades, I was a little bit like, why did you pick that color? But after playing with it and blending everything out, I think that they chose the matte shades in here just to complement and really pop all of the shimmers. Now, we get into Le Macaron. I'm probably butchering that, but this is the all shimmer palette. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, girl, we need to take a moment because this is gorgeous, but it's all shimmers. So who is this for? Who's going to get the most use out of this? Really like drive home that idea. But they also did such a beautiful job compiling like a mini rainbow palette, but also a little mini palette that's a variety of like shimmers and toppers. Some have more of like a metallic-y kind of shift, and some of them are just more like straight up, I'm here to gleam, I'm here to be just beautiful and sexy. And what I love about this palette is that it's so working like artist travel friendly because it does have some neutral shades, it has some pops of color, it has some demure pops of color, which is what I went with. I view this green in here as a much more demure, sophisticated green because it's still giving you that nice green undertone, but it has flecks of gold and a couple flecks of silver and a couple flecks of like a tealy color, and it really does just bring out, like, it pops itself off your lid and it makes it so you can pair it with so many other colors. You could pair this with a silver, you can pair it with a pewter, you could pair it with gold, you know, you can do so many different looks with that green alone that it just drives you to really want to play around and experiment with the rest of the palette. So I think that that's absolutely stunning, and I loved that they didn't go overboard with like crazy colors in this palette. Like, for the most part, you get very wearable everyday type shades, you know. Yes, there's a couple down here, there's this green, this blue, and this like purple type color. Those 3 are a lot more bold, but then you have all of these shades right through here that are a lot more wearable and, again, a lot more sophisticated for those of us that are just like, pop it on the lid, go. I don't want to have to do too much. I don't want to have to dig in and like manipulate and do this crazy thing and have these fake lashes, and I don't want to have to do all that. They do have shades in here for those days as well, so I really do love this. It'd be a nice complementary palette if you have like a cheaper or a more affordable palette that has a ton of mattes in it, or you have mattes that you like to use already and you're like, oh, I want shimmers and I want these metallics, but I don't want to spend a ton of money. For $18, you can go and get this little palette, which would be a beautiful complement to anything else you have in your collection, and you'd be able to use it in tandem without feeling like, oh, I just went and wasted. Like, if you buy this palette, for example, you'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm wasting one of my other palettes that already has all of those shades. I already have Soft Glam or, you know, whatever, and it has a lot of these tones, and I feel like I'm wasting it. You buy this one and you're not wasting any of those colors because you'll still be using them and just using these to complement what you already have, which is really cool. So I love this palette, and I think that it's probably, if I had to guess, like the most misunderstood of all the little palettes in this collection because it's beautiful and it has a great like story behind it, but it definitely needs other things to accompany it, whereas the rest you can use pretty much on their own because they have mattes and shimmers. So I love this one so much. Now, that really brings us to the most well-rounded, in my opinion, of all the palettes. This is Berry Burst, and I love this little palette. At first, when I started playing with it, I was like, oh, hello, this is the Modern Renaissance dupe. It looks just like it. I mean, in colors, in swatch, everything like that. That's really the vibe that I kept getting. But then as I was looking at this, when I was swatching them, I was super impressed at how well they organized the top and the bottom rows of this palette. One side is very clearly like all browns and crease colors with one pop, and then the bottom row is all berry and like those those beautiful like berry burst tones that we have come to know and love. And I love that in this palette, it's like they gave you 2 in 1. For me, this is like a travel size, like soft glam and modern renaissance. They put the two together. They are so beautiful. Obviously, it's not like equally weighted, whatever. You know, the bottom row has 2 mattes, the top row has 4. Yes, you know, there's a lot of mixing and matching going on. But for the most part, when I look at this palette, what I love the most is that this is so wearable for the neutral Nellies in our lives. Yes, this Creme Brulee, is that what this one was? Yeah, Creme Brulee. This is the one that had all the brown tones in it. It's a beautiful palette, and if you have this one, do you need this one? I don't know. I can't speak to that. This one has a lot more undertones, a lot more shades. It's super beautiful. What I can say is that if you are the type that reaches for like the same 4 shades, they're all neutral, you like a couple pinks, you like a couple browns, for $18, beautiful travel palette, beautiful palette in general. The shimmers in here are outstanding. I love these so much. I mean, I love the shimmers in all of them, but this one in particular, it has these 2 pinky shades right here. Oh my good Lord. Like these swatch like buttery, dreamy cuteness. Here, let me like actually even that out. Oh my God, this light one right here is just blinding and sexy. And then the other one is like a champagne to pink duochrome shimmer moment. And I'm obsessed with this palette so much. I actually used a few colors in here to go on my lids today. And I find when I am blending and working with this palette, you feel safe. This is one of those palettes that if you were to travel and you only could take like a little bit of stuff, you have a small makeup bag, you don't like to travel with a lot, whatever the case is, this is a great freaking palette for that because you don't need a lot. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, if I only had this palette, I would be good. I don't need anything else as far as eyeshadow. Obviously, I would need the rest of my face, but you don't need anything else to complete a full eye look, whether it's going out or going to work. You could do all of it with this and feel like you had enough because it has everything. It has shimmers, it has deepening colors, it has lighter colors, crease colors. It has this beautiful pink like pop. You could put that on the dead center, inner corner, brow bone. You could do so freaking much with this palette. It is so all-inclusive that, again, if you've been waiting for that moment, that travel thing that, you know, you don't like traveling with bigger palettes, these are just such good tiny little, like, look at how small this is. Like, this is smaller than my cell phone. Like, it's so tiny. Like, how adorable, right? I don't know. I love it. I think it's so good. It would fit in a purse. It would fit daytime to nighttime. You can do a lot with it. Now, you guys know how I am. When it comes to little palettes like this, just like with the little Huda palettes and everything like that, when I pick up stuff like this, I like pitting it against the brand's bigger items. I like taking these and putting them against, say, one of their Ride or Die palettes or, honestly, any of their palettes that have shimmers and beautiful blendable mattes in them, because I like comparing and contrasting if they work just as hard on a little palette that's cheaper as they do on a palette that's $40, $45, $50. And I find with these that they are absolutely stunning. They blended out the exact same. They packed on color so beautifully. Like this outer V right here, which we're going to get into in a second, I'm actually wearing this really super beautiful deep matte brown right here out of the Berry Burst palette, and it packed on my lid so stunningly in like one little poop 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 moment. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, are you kidding? Why is there so much pigment? And I wasn't even using like a packing brush. It just had that much color to it that you didn't have to do anything. And I think with these palettes, they not only put all of that same love into like these as they did their normal palettes, but Violet Voss also did a beautiful job at arranging 4 little palettes at a really nice price point that I think a lot of people will be able to get a lot of use out of and not feel like they're missing anything. Because as we all know, it can suck when you're like standing there and you're like, wow, I don't have a lot of money. I can't afford these things. I want to start doing like fun, colorful makeup, but I'm like afraid to make the commitment for a larger palette, or I can't afford it, or whatever the case is. And the fact that they came out with these little palettes, I think really shows, for me, when a brand does it, it shows dedication to people that have just a little less money. Because it's just like with Huda. Huda has a ton of palettes. They have a ton of larger ones. They don't have to come out with little guys. And I think Violet Voss is the same way. I feel like they didn't need to come out with a little palette that costs less. It wasn't something that they needed to do, but I love when brands do little stuff like this that shows their dedication to the consumer. And at least that's how I view it. I feel like they're saying, you know what? We know that this other palette, this $45 palette, it's it's not super affordable. Maybe it's not something you can get your hands on. And that's okay, because look at, like, we still want you to be able to enjoy our stuff, and here's something else, and they make it just as beautiful, and they still put all of the care and the design into a little palette that's a lot cheaper, a lot more affordable as they do a large palette. And I think that that speaks so highly of a brand when they do stuff like that, because you're still getting, I mean, obviously it's not a big palette for $18. It is a little palette, but they still put all the care and the design, and like, it's fun sized, and they really played up the little mini element. And I think that that's so cute. They don't try to make you feel like you're less because you can't afford a large item. And I think that that is key when it comes to stuff like this. You know, it's like the people that are like, I'm not sure I'm fun sized. Like, you're kind of like, you know, like, I'm not sure I'm fun sized. And it's like trying to make light of something that otherwise a lot of people in society would kind of look at you funny or maybe look down on you for. And I think this whole new era of 2018, you know, keeping up with the Joneses, I have to have what everyone else has kind of moment. I think that it could be the same way with these type of palettes. Like, oh, you can't afford it, so you had to buy the small one. And, you know, either people say it to us or we think it about ourselves. And I like when a brand like this, they go through and they're like, it's not cheap, it's fun sized. And like, they play up that feeling, the feeling that you don't need to ever feel insecure because you can't afford something. And I think that's really cool, because they're not giving you a cheaper product. They're not giving you a lesser product. They're not giving you a product with cheaper packaging. Like, these are so beautiful and so thought through. They have a little mirror in them, which is super cute. They made them nice and small and compact, and I don't know, I like it. I like that they didn't try to pass off something as something else. They didn't try to give you, you know, here's a big square with these tiny little pans in it, and, you know, they didn't try to dupe you into getting something less and paying less for it. They were like, look, here's something more affordable. These are super cute, super on trend for the year we're going into. If you have like little kids or you're trying to build a kit, anything like that, there's so many different uses you could use for these. There's so many different uses for these palettes, and I love how well thought out they are so freaking much. And I don't know, I'm a big fan. So all of this kind of culminates into where we're going next, which is today's look. So I'm really excited to bring this look to you guys. I haven't done a look like this in so long. It turned out so beautiful and so like slightly sophisticated. Going to a Christmas party. That was really the vibe that I wanted for this look, because I wanted something that was like on trend for the holiday. I could have done like a normal brown, a normal berry, called it a day, but then I wouldn't have gotten to play with all of the beautiful shimmers in this freaking palette right here. Like, I wouldn't have gotten to play with that green, which from the moment I swatched it, I was obsessed. So anyways, I started off with the JH33 brush from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collection, and I started off in the super matte brown shade in the Berry Burst palette, and I started working that and patting it, blending it onto the outer V area of the eye. I really just wanted to smoke that out, build it up, because after that I dipped into the shade right next door and I diffused the outer part of that going up toward the brow bone. I wanted to work that shade out, but I didn't want to do it so much so that it was too worked, that it was too smoky. I wanted to really control that deep matte brown shade, and these shades have so much pigment that you will want to work with them in very small strokes, very small circular motions, patting and light buffing at the seams. That way you can still diffuse them without throwing them all over your crease, because trust me, you will, and it will be a nightmare. Now, after I got there, I diffused it just a little bit more with that light brown shade, two spots over in the same Berry Burst palette, just to keep working it out, keep fluffing it. I didn't use a lot of this color because I didn't want to overdo it, but it was at this time that I grabbed my Shape Tape concealer and I carved out the lid. I did it with a tiny little Wet n Wild flat brush. You can use any little flat brush you have. Just go through, cut it out, make it look however you want it to look. I started with a basic cut, and then I took that cut and went all the way to the inside of the eye just to help open up the eye. That way it would take a little more color and look a little bit more opened. So then once I had that all cut out, I grabbed the La Macaron palette and I grabbed that green shade, and oh my god, you guys, I love this shade so much. I used my finger and I just started packing it onto the lid. When I had to get up close to the cut crease line, I grabbed that same little Wet n Wild flat brush and I just packed it up ever so slightly. I took my finger and I kind of patted it over the dark brown on the outer portion of the eye, just to like pat it over. I wanted a light veil blend, but I just blended it out with my finger, because these blend beautifully with your finger, with a brush, it doesn't matter. Mattes blend beautifully with shimmers out of these palettes. They are beautiful. Now for the inner portion of the eye, I actually grabbed the Creme Brulee palette and I grabbed the shimmer on the top row, that's the second one in, and I started taking that and I packed it onto the inner corner, and it looked so freaking stunning. I absolutely love this color. It was the perfect like bright golden sheen pop that I needed for the inner portion of my eye. And then once that was on there, it was kind of the name of the game was just deepening it up to where I was happy. So I went back in with that Berry Burst palette. I was using a mixture of that deep brown shade and the color next to it, just like when I first got started with the crease. I went back to those same two colors and I just kept blending and buffing them in and out until I really liked and I felt like everything was diffused but also full of color, and it didn't take any work to meld that matte brown with the green. Everything just went together literally seamlessly, and it was so stunning. And for the lower lash line, it actually isn't even recorded because it was literally 12 seconds. All I did is take that same matte brown and the same shade right next to it, these two guys, and I just smudged them on the lower lash line and just smudged them out. Like, I didn't do any work to it because I really wanted the top to just be like the focal point. I wanted it to be the everything. And then if you are wondering, like, Paige, why didn't you go in with fake lashes? I actually did this with a purpose, with a point. So I didn't use fake lashes because first of all, I didn't want to. And I know that that sounds like kind of like bitchy, like, oh, I just didn't want to. But I didn't do it because there's a lot of people online, there's a lot of people in real life, there's a lot of people in the beauty community, whatever. People will tell you, oh, you have to wear fake lashes if you do this. You have to wear them. Or even I feel pressure to wear fake lashes. And the reality is that sometimes your eyes need a break. Sometimes you don't like to wear them. Sometimes it's not your aesthetic. And it is okay to do a bright, colorful, beautiful eye like this and not wear fake lashes. I actually went in with my superhero mascara from It Cosmetics, and then I layered that with the CoverGirl Clump Crusher, literally just to pull some of the clumps out of this guy. This one kind of gets clumpy on me, but if I go in with this one and fan it through, it helps a lot. And I did it because I wanted to build up like a thicker lash and have that like thick illusion of lashes and all of that. But I didn't want to go in with fake lashes because, again, sometimes you just don't feel like it. And I feel like the beauty community says a lot of things, and it's all about, you know, self-expression and being artistic and this and that. And sometimes you just don't want to. So for today's look, I chose not to go in with fake lashes. I know a lot of people are probably going to say down in the comments, like, you should have done it. It would have looked so much better. But the reality is that it wouldn't have looked better if I wasn't comfortable with it. Because makeup is just like wearing clothes. And you can't say like, oh, you would look good in this type of style. If I'm not comfortable in it, I won't look good in it because I'm going to stand there and I'm going to be all awkward. And it would be the same if I would have put lashes on when I didn't want to, when I wasn't feeling it, if I had a migraine, if my eyes were watering, whatever the situation is. If you're not comfortable in it and you can't do it or you don't want to, that's okay. You still have to be able to feel like you can express yourself and be just as accepted. Yes, the look might not look the way that it conventionally should look, but you just have to keep telling yourself that that's okay and that it's not a big deal. For myself, if I were to put lashes on, I would have just put on Ardell Demi Wispies and you wouldn't have hardly been able to see them, so it's not like it would have made a big difference anyways. And again, I wanted to drive home that point of it's okay to just do what you want to do. Now, because I chose not to go in with like a, you know, a super full lash or any lash at all, really, I also went ahead and I did not do any type of liner on the top lid portion. So normally I would go in with like a felt tip liner. That's where you do like the wing or you just travel it along. But I didn't do that because what this does when you put down any type of a liner is it actually takes away the look of your lashes. So what little lashes you are able to see, when you put a liner behind them, you're putting a black lash over a black line and you can't see your lashes. So I figure if I'm not going in with any, I want you to see what I have. So I didn't go in with any of this. All I did is take a little bit of my Perversion Urban Decay Glide On Gel Pencil and I put that at the base of my lashes on the upper lash line, which will, by the way, help them look more full and more dense at the base of your lash, which looks beautiful. And then I put it on the lower lash line just to help make everything kind of match and come together and help pop my eyes a little bit. So I did all of this because, you guys, I wanted you to see that it's okay. First of all, if you don't wear fake lashes, if you don't like that, or some people are just straight up allergic to the glue or they physically cannot wear them, that it's still okay to play with makeup. Because as someone, and I will be straight honest with you, I put up videos 5 days a week and I feel there are so many times when I do something just because I know that I'm supposed to do it, and sometimes I don't want to do it. Sometimes bigger influencers, even if they won't admit it, they don't want to fucking do it. And sometimes you just don't feel like it. So I did this because I wanted to show you guys that you still can do a beautiful look, a bold look. I did a bold brow too to match a bold look, and then I didn't do lashes, and that's fine. So I just, after all of this, I just wanted to tell you that it's fine if you don't feel like it. So all of that aside, I am going to run through the other products that are on my face right now, just in case you guys are curious. So I have the Colourpop brow pencil in Bang & Brunette on for my brows. I did prime my lids with my Urban Decay Eden Primer Potion. I set that down with my Maybelline Fit Me in 05 Fair, the loose powder. Fantastic. I love setting my face with that. Did the eyes. We already saw how all of that went. For the rest of my skin, I actually primed with the Tatcha Silk Canvas. Over top of that, I tried putting down, I've been playing around with this a little bit. This is the Jeffree Star Liquid Frost, and these bottles, I told you guys that I was kind of playing with these. Am I the only one? Keeping in mind, I have only used this twice. This specific bottle I have only used twice. Once and then today, and I'm already not able to get any product out of it. Like I click the little clicker, the dropper thing, and like nothing comes out, right? So it's completely empty. I put it down, I suck it all the way back in. It's like the lid is on there, and you're supposed to be able to pull it up, hit the stopper, which is supposed to suck product up. It's like a standard pipette, and then it's supposed to come down and it's supposed to pump product out, and there's still nothing coming out. And I don't know if I just have like an empty jar. I don't know why I have no product in here, but it's legit like empty, and I've used it twice. So that's concerning, but I want you guys to tell me if you bought those, is yours doing that, or am I like just the lucky person? Now, after I had that on, you guys don't hate me. I really wanted to play around with this and see how I liked it, how it sat on my skin. So I started to play with the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. This is something that so many people have raved about, and I really wanted to try it under the skin, over the skin. You know, is it too much? Is it not enough? And I really want to start playing with this in as far as like my skincare is concerned. So I did put this down, just a couple sprays, nothing like literally 1, 2, like nothing crazy. Over top of that, I did my Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is in the shade Mont Blanc. Love this so far. As my skin has been changing and going through whatever it's going through, this has actually been a great foundation for me, which is funny because I couldn't wear it when I was oily, so ironic things. Then after that, I went in with my Tarte Shape Tape in 8B, which is Porcelain Beige. I set that down with my loose Maybelline Fit Me powder, and I've been trying to still use it and just experimenting with like how much is too much. So I used it to set my under eye, and then I used the same Maybelline Fit Me powder in 05 Fair, and I lightly dusted it over the rest of my face with just like a big fluffy brush. So to bronze up the skin, I went in with my Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder, which is this guy right here. And to blush up, I use the Burt's Bees Toasted Cinnamon Blush. I love this so much. Now, I did just put both of these in a video. I did a full face using products that were under $10. Speaking of more affordable things, a full face using all products that were under 10. Some of them were under 5. So you can go check that out. I will link it right up here. Such a good, fun, fresh video if you are looking for more affordable stuff, because it was a fun video to film, and these were both in it, and I love them both. So now on to something more expensive. For a highlight, I used my Hourglass Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting Palette. I love this. I can't get away from it. I use it a ton. I used this on my brow bone, or my brow bone. I used it on my cheekbone, my brow bone, my inner eye highlight, just my whole face. I just wanted to glow up to Jesus. It was a beautiful situation. And then I did go ahead, I set my whole face with the Urban Decay. I highlighted, and then over top of everything, I did a couple more sprays of the Tatcha spray here, and everything actually melded in beautifully. Now for lips, I used this Buxom lip liner. This is in Incognito, which is just like a beautiful nude lip liner. I really love these Buxom lip liners. I think these are so nice, and like the pencil is so big, you just line your lips like in 12 seconds. It's great. And then over top of that, I did the JLo and Inglot collection. Again, this is in Peach Pearl. I love this gloss. It has a beautiful undertone to it. The gloss doesn't last a super long time, like that glossy look, but I love the color, so I wear it. Anyways, I think that's everything on my face, you guys. That wraps up everything. That wraps up what I think of these palettes. That wraps up my face. That wraps up the whole moment. And I really just want to round this whole situation out. And I keep talking about this, and I've done so many videos as of late that are geared towards, you know, more affordable and this and that and cheaper products. And there are so many good products out right now, and I just want to kind of mention and throw out there that not only is it to our benefit as consumers that there's more affordable products, because hello, they're expensive as all hell. But it's also awesome that brands in general are trying to put more focus on how to make things more affordable and how to give us what we need versus give them more money. I feel like there's a huge shift going on right now, and brands are finally starting to go, oh shit, they can't afford literally a new palette every 6 days. So they're really starting to be smarter. They're coming out with a little more like tiny options like these. They're coming out with more thought out skin colors. They're coming out with just more thought out things, whether it's foundation, and they're coming out with a better shade range because we can't afford to all buy 17 shades and we don't all get PR. So, you know, I love that brands are finally at a place where they are just like opening their mind and going like, okay, great. How can we make this better for the consumer? How can we do this? And Violet Voss, you have done it. You have really found a way to make this so great for the consumer. I love these little palettes. I stand behind them. I think they are so beautiful. I love the eye look. I love everything about it. So you guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Like I said, I didn't watch anybody else's video. I have not read one review on these, so I don't know if other people like them. I don't know. I don't know what other people thought. So if y'all liked them, if you didn't like them, leave me all of your thoughts down below. And if you are new here, you should definitely subscribe because your girl puts out new content 5 days a week. That is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It goes up bright and early my time, which is Northern Michigan, like between 6 and 7 in the morning is when my video goes live. So you will have something to watch when you're getting up, brushing your teeth, getting ready, doing your thing, getting the kids on the bus. You will always have something to watch over here every day. Now, while you're subscribing, that means you probably love me. You should definitely check down in the description box because I have my links to both Instagram and Twitter down there as well. My Instagram has a ton of like selfies and fun, and we really dive into like my home life, and there's animals and there's all kinds of cute little things on there. It's got a lot of fun, a lot of chill type photos, just candid stuff. That's like my more like down to earth life that I like to live. You know, I'm not like a super intense beauty guru. I like to just chill and take selfies with like myself in a Starbucks. Like that's kind of my feel. So if you like that kind of stuff, you should definitely check out my links in the description. You guys, thank you so much for watching yet again, letting me come here and letting me do something like this with a little collection that I love so freaking much. This is fantastic. And so are you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I went in with the It Cosmetics, nope. With the what am I looking for? Girl, I'm looking for my life. I still hated all of that, and I can't roll my fucking chair. So this one has all the beautiful rainbow pops, again, fruit sorbet. Now with all of that type, nope. I keep forgetting where I'm at. Like, hello, Paige, what are you even talking about? What's your name? Who are you? Hello? No. Yes. I need a fucking drink of my Diet Coke because I'm losing my mind. Okay, that was so good it made my eyes water. That is like my body's battle cry. It was like, please, give me the Diet Coke. Oh, hell no. You are not about ready to start crying. We did not water all damn day. You are not about to start now. I do not think so, honey boo boo eyeball. They don't have to come out with, you know, a little less intense, less, oh my God. They don't have to come out with less, no, that's not, what am I trying to say? They don't have to come out with less, no. My Paige, what the stop saying that word. You're not, it's not the word you're trying to say. Now you guys know how, oh my God, I'm gonna laugh again. Damn it. Girl, I look so good. I deserve all the presents, and I deserve to be sitting all up under that mistletoe, waiting for my Mr. Right to come along and give me a present. Just kidding. Bring me cookies. Thanks.